All right, on a more positive note, it's time to wrap up the show and preview the games of the week. Tonight, the Calgary Flames will once again take on the Los Angeles Kings at Staples Center. That game will be shown locally here in LA on Fox Sports West with puck drop near 7 o'clock Pacific. These two teams met on Saturday night at Staples Center, with the Kings routing the Flames 6-2 in that game. Because of weird scheduling all around the league due to the lockout, the Flames stayed in LA over the weekend since they had to play 2 games in a row in Los Angeles. The Flames will obviously look to rebound from that bad loss on Saturday, while the Kings will try to sweep the 2-game set. Tuesday, the Boston Bruins will head over to Pittsburgh to face the Penguins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and it will be broadcast nationally on NBC Sportsnet. This will be the second night of a back-to-back set for the Bruins, facing the Senators the night before in Ottawa. The Penguins are coming off a 6-1 win over the Islanders on March 14th. That saw Chris Kunitz score a hat-trick and Sidney Crosby tally a casual 5 assists. That game was on the second night of a back-to-back for the Penguins, who won 5-4 in a shootout over Toronto the night before. So the 6-1 win is all the more impressive. Boston will look to not only win the game against Ottawa the night before, but also this one so they can gain ground on the division rival Montreal Canadiens. They have 4 games in hand on Montreal and are only 3 points behind them in the standings. Pittsburgh will look to continue the roll they're on, but they're going to have to get strong goaltending to go in conjunction with their offense, because as crazy and entertaining as 4 games are to watch, they're not really that ideal in the long run to play at as far as Pittsburgh is concerned. Wednesday night rivalry night will feature the Philadelphia Flyers, against the New Jersey Devils in Newark for a 7:30 p.m. tilt. New Jersey has struggled since Martin Brodeur went down with a stiff back on February 24th, going 2-5-1 since he went down, and their 2 wins came from a shootout, which won't help them in the standings in a tie-breaking situation. Philadelphia's been struggling as of late, going 1-3 the previous week, with one of those losses, a 5-4 loss to Pittsburgh, in which they blew a 4-1 lead. This will be the first game of the week for both of these teams. Thursday night would be a Pacific Division matchup between the red-hot Anaheim Ducks against the Dallas Stars at the American Airlines Center at 7:30 p.m. Central. The Stars are awaiting news on Jimmy Benn. We just got it. He doesn't have a concussion. He does have an injured wrist, though. This was on a questionable hit by Phoenix's Martin Hansel. Hansel was not suspended for the play. Anaheim will look to continue their reign atop the Pacific Division and hope to get a strong goaltending performance from Victor Fost. Fost has been a revelation for them this season, going 10-1-1 with a .929 save percentage and a .192 goals against average. While the Stars are in 5th place in a once again very competitive Pacific Division, they are 5-2 against the Pacific. Friday night, the Detroit Red Wings will play the Edmonton Oilers at Rexall Place at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. This game will be a second game of a 3-game Western Canada road trip for the Wings, and also the first game of a back-to-back set that will see their next game in Vancouver against the Canucks the next night. The Oilers will be home for the first time since February 23rd, coming home from a season-long 9-game road trip that will finally end March 12th. This game will be the first of a 4-game homestand for the Oilers, and Detroit will hope to get strong net mining from Jimmy Howard. For the Oilers, though, they just hope that their goaltenders won't give up center ice goals. Saturday matinee hockey, the Minnesota Wild will take on the Colorado Avalanche at Pepsi Center at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. This will be part of a farewell tour of the Northwest Division for Minnesota, and as this season will be the last one for them due to realignment. This will be the second game of a home-and-home series between these two teams, with the first one taking place in St. Paul on March 14th. Colorado will hope to extend their 2-game road winning streak by this time, since this will be the third game of the week for them. Ryan O'Reilly's been a nice addition for the Avs, finally coming off that contract situation, recording 4 points in 5 games, courtesy of 2 goals and 2 assists. The Wild will have to ride Nicholas Backstrom for this game, since both Josh Harding and Darcy Kemper won't be available. For Sunday, there are surprisingly not that many games to choose from. In the interest of picking teams I haven't mentioned yet, the Winnipeg Jets and the Ottawa Senators will face off at Scotiabank Place for a 5 o'clock Eastern matchup. Last week, the Jets played 3 games in the state of Florida, losing 4-1 to the Panthers on March 5th, winning 2-1 over the Lightning on March 7th, and then going back to Sunrise to beat the Panthers 3-2 in overtime on March 8th. They wrapped up the week by losing to the Devils 3-2 in a shootout on March 10th. For the Senators, this will be the second game of a back-to-back set. It will be more challenging for the Ottawa because the game will take place late in the afternoon and not in the evening, and therefore there's less time to prepare. If there's any consolation, they only have to fly from Buffalo to Ottawa, pending no weather delays. That's all the time I have this week for the Faceoff. There will be no show next week because of USC spring break, so don't bother going online to listen live. You'll just hear a robot playing music for the entire day, and, well, I'm not going to stop you from listening to that if you want to. Coming up at 1 p.m. on KXSC is Fade to Sound with DJ Nico. You've been listening to KXSC's The Faceoff, USC's only weekly hockey radio show. I'm Graham Jacobs, and you'll hear from me in 2 weeks. Have a great rest of the afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.